So, good morning, sir. Our report is all about the Kardashev scale. Kardashev scale is a method of measuring a civilization's level of technological advancement based on the amount of energy they are able to use. The measure was proposed by Soviet astronomer Nikolai Kardashev in 1964. The scale has three designated categories. This is the three types of civilization. First is type 1 civilization, next is a type 2 civilizations, and three is type 3 civilizations. Next, first is a type 1 civilization is also called a planetary civilization, can use and store all of energy available in its planets. Planetary civilization is global civilization. Next is a type 2 civilization, also called a stellar civilization, use and control energy and the scale of its planetary system. Planetary system is a set a gravitationally bound non-stellar object. Next is a type 2 civilizations, also called a galactic civilization, can control energy at the scale of its entire host galaxy, sorry. Entire host galaxy is supermassive blocks of massive at their centers. So, ayun lang po. Thank you.
Nikolai Simonovich Kardashev. He was born on April 25, 1932 in Moscow. He is a Russian, a professor doctor of physical and mathematical sciences, and is the deputy director of the Aerospace Center of P.N. Lebedev Physical Institute of Russian Academy of Sciences in Moscow. In 1963, Kardashev examined quasar CTA-102, the first Soviet effort in the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. In this work, he came up with the idea that some galactic civilizations would be perhaps millions or billions ahead of us, and he created the Kardashev scale to rank at such a civilization. Nikolai Kardashev defined three levels of civilization. The type 1 is the technological level close to the level presently attained on Earth. Type 2 is a civilization capable of harnessing in the energy radiated by its own star. Type 3 is a civilization in possession of energy on the scale of its own galaxy.
Can you imagine? A world with limitless energy. A world so advanced so you can control the weather. So, that was I will discuss today. I will discuss about a type 1 civilization. But, what is a type 1 civilization actually? A type 1 civilization is also called as planetary civilization, a civilization that can harness all the energy of its planet. It means we have complete control over the energy on Earth. That means we need to say goodbye to all the fossil fuels, since fossil fuels is limited and unsustainable. Instead, we could use sunlight, wind, and anything you think of having a potential energy. Since this energy is so accessible, you may no longer need to pay your power bill. We are not a type 1 civilization. We are actually type 0.72 civilization because we can't even adapt to using all the energy on Earth. When it comes in technology, in a type 1 civilization, we can control everything. What I mean is we can possibly harness energy from natural disasters like tsunami, thunderstorm, typhoons, and anything you could think of. As for the earthquake, as a type 1 civilization, they can easily predict from where and when it will happen.
Type 1 civilization can control everything about the planet like Legos. They can change anything and everything. So what happens to humanity when we reach the Type 1 civilization? We are smarter obviously, and money could appear differently. Instead of the typical money we have, that is made out of paper. It could be a Bitcoin in the future, which is a type of digital currency, which we already have, but it's not used widely, or money can even no longer exist by that time. Because we have everything. Taxes no longer need payment since we have a powerful source of energy used for our daily basis. Racism could not be a thing in Type 1 civilization status because humans have a more brilliant mind when we reach a Type 1 civilization. Poverty could also no longer exist in the near future because we have the technology to help everyone by that time. Michio Kaku, another brilliant physicist, said that humanity could attain in Type 1 civilization status in the next century.
Good morning, sir. I am GC Torres and we're going to report the Type 2 civilization of Kardashev scale. Type 2 civilization. It would exhaust the power of the planet and it most likely would be energy sources, like a star for example. Type 2 means civilization becomes interplanetary getting energy from the star. It's in an easy process. To do that, we'll have to build up megastructures called the Dyson Sphere into completely enclose a star and capture all of its energy. The idea of such a star machine was first proposed like this is the lamp mathematician, Freeman Dyson in 1960. It should be at least 2 times larger than our sun to consume the energy and transport of the Earth. Perhaps the only serious to our Type 2 civilization would be a nearby supernova explosion. Sudden eruption could scorch their planet in a withering blast of X-rays, killing all life forms. We'll range to this step only 100 to 200 years, and that rolling for a Mars straight in 1% per year. Kardashev estimated that we only take 3,200 years to reach Type 2 status and 5,800 years to reach Type 3 status. However, it's just a theoretical calculation after all. Again, when we say Dyson Sphere, this type of technology that can harness the power of the star. Dyson Sphere. This is the structure that we will do to get the energy from the sun. We will do Dyson structure to absorb energy from the sun or star. But the sun is wide, right? So we need to make our Dyson structure wider so that we can accommodate the sun. Have anyone done this? No one. It is an idea that if we run out of energy from the Earth and we need to get energy from other sources, the sun is our option because it has so many energy. Then, Freeman Dyson is the one who experimented this. The idea came from him. As I've said earlier in the Type 2 civilization, he is also a mathematician. The word Dyson came from his surname. It's called Dyson Sphere, Freeman Dyson. Yeah, because the idea came from him. And that's it, my report.
Dyson Sphere, isang nakakakaon at isip na ganap na sumasakalaw sa isang bitcoin at nakakakuha ng malaking porsyenta na output ng kuryente nito. Dyson Shell, iisa ang hugis at anyon na nakapwesto sa paligid ng bitcoin. Ang nasabing structure ay ganap na babaguhin ang mga emission ng gitnang bitcoin at maharap ang 100% ng output ng enerhiya ng bitcoin.
The next example of Dyson sphere is the Dyson ring. The simplest way to arrange a Dyson ring is when all the same structure, orbit, and more complicated pattern can block more than the outcome of the star. Will result in the some construction eclipsing other periodically when their orbit overlap. And do you think Dyson sphere is possible? According to my research, it is possible. Even the megastructure is possible. And to build one strong system of Dyson globe, current beyond the engineering capabilities of mankind, the number of craft required to obtain, transmit, and maintain a complete
Dyson sphere exceed present-day industrial capabilities? And second, what is the Dyson sphere purpose? Or what is the purpose of Dyson sphere? A Dyson sphere is a hypothesized artificial habitat built around by the star by a civilization with sufficient technology. It is intended to capture as much as possible of the power output of the star, and should be distinctive characteristic of civilization able to control the resources of planetary system.
A Type 3 civilization is a civilization that can harness every star, everything in their whole galaxy, just like in a Type 2 civilization, but instead of just one star, they can harness every star. And according to Michio Kaku, about 1 billion watts, or about 1 million years from now, we can harness that Type 3 civilization status.
Michio Kaku is an American theoretical physicist, futurist, and popularizer of science. He was born in January 24, 1947, and in Kardashev scale, Michio Kaku suggested that if humans increase their energy consumption at an average rate of 3% each year, they may attain Type 1 status in 100 to 200 years, Type 2 status in a few thousand years, and Type 3 status in 100,000 to a million years.
Technology by this time can ever get to the point that humanity has interstellar traveling and can go anywhere in the galaxy whenever they want to. Everything from them will be like Lego from them, because they can harness everything on the galaxy, even its planet, asteroid, sun, particles, dust, literally everything in the galaxy. It's basically like a Star Wars.
Type 3 is civilization processing energy at the scales of its own system. World energy utilization at 4x 144 Earth-sec revolution express of this civilization, with admittance to the force practically identical to the evidence of the whole Milky Way universe, about 4x 144 Earth-sec 4x 137 watts.
お前はもう